There was so many stories, you guys, like Shannon Doherty passed away, RIP. Like all these things happened. I was doing the Richard thing actually yesterday, and I fell asleep like trying to put it up last night, and I was like, oh my God, because I was looking into this thing right here. This came up, and sorry, there was just like everybody died, and then this weird crap, and people spreading fake information around, and we still have more bullshit going on with the story, but this one actually is pissing me off even more too because of they want to run with this thing that, oh, he was bullied in school and therefore he did this. But actually, that's not the truth. That is not the truth. A lot of us were bullied in school, okay? We also had friends. He had some friends. Okay, but they also spread around false information that he was a Democrat and, this garbage, and then posting wrong pictures of wrong people, uh it just became this thing, and I was like, you have to stop, you know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute, it just didn't make sense, like the story still doesn't. But it says what we know. So this is from CNN. So let me be annoyed here. There are always these white boys, right? Why do white boys feel so entitled, you know? So the gunman who allegedly tried to assassinate the president was bullied in high school. Okay, this is bullshit. Okay, any one of us out here, ask yourself this. Most of us out here could probably say that we got bullied in some which way, shape, or form, right? Okay, now, when this occurs, it doesn't mean that no kids didn't pick on him, because they probably did, because a lot of us had this happen. Why are they picking on certain people? Because they feel like, that sometimes it is because they're damn weird. There has been some kids that are so bizarre, and they may have seen me as bizarre just because I dressed a certain way, but I'm talking about bizarre in the way how they act. Because there was another guy that they were saying that he sacrificed animals and everything else. There was a whole other thing with that dude, and he was a problem. I mean, he was a problem in his own right. Not to the point of this, but yeah. So there's that thing going on. However, it has nothing to do with this actions of right here, but they want to keep pumping this out. If that were the case of being bullied in high school, and it wouldn't be from high school, because we know they're not created in high school, that's like long after the fact, right? Long after the fact. That ain't the problem. That ain't the problem. They want to throw that out here, so they want to manipulate you. Okay, so no, this would have been seen much earlier. There's going to be a little information down below in this because I skimmed it really quick, but let's get to it. And didn't fit in with other students. Yeah, because he may have been total of freakazoid because of another issue. Okay, because I want to say that. Thomas, 20, was registered to vote as a Republican and had previously made a small contribution to a Democratic-aligned group, according to public records. I had questions about the public records because it said some other information, but okay, they're still running with this. Okay, so maybe you did. So far, investigators haven't found any evidence on social media or other writings by Crooks that might help identify his motive for the attempted assassination. Okay? Crooks lived in Pittsburgh, suburb of Bethel Park, about 35 minutes south of the Trump rally, where the law enforcement officials say he fired at the former president. Crooks graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022. Yeah, well, they pulled up this school thing, and I'm looking at it last night. This is what made me fall asleep, too. And I was reminded how my school bullied me and didn't allow me to even go through that. Okay, like, let's talk about that. But the guy that was on there doesn't look anything like this guy. But I was like, okay, so at some point, did he get overweight? Like, I don't know. I'm totally lost on it. I told him, I go, it doesn't even look like the guy. He didn't have glasses on. So I was like, is that the same guy? They look nothing alike from the picture that they showed at the shooting. Like, the dude that died at the shooting is totally thin, has glasses, has a different hair color. And I'm sitting here like, I'm not posting any of this because it's not kind of coming together properly to me. According to the local media report and a video of the school's graduation ceremony. So now they're saying it's him, but it looks nothing like him from that point. But if it is, then we're looking at a drastic change of character. So I don't know. So it threw me off last night, and I was trying to I go, you sure? Because maybe it was the year prior. So then I skimmed through that other thing and it wasn't there. So I was like, I don't know. I'm totally thrown off by this. Okay, Jason, 21, who went to the same high school, told CNN that Crooks was bullied by other students and seemed to be a loner. Okay, they need to stop that. Crooks had a no facial expression. Okay, there's something right here. This has nothing to do with being bullied at school. I want this to stop. He's being bullied because he's acting weird. Okay, if that's even going on. That's not an excuse to bully anybody, but there's something else going on. Okay, this is not from being bullied in high school. Is no facial expression, and when he walked through the school hallway, he wasn't like with the clique, so he always had, I guess, a target on his back. I wasn't with the clique. Was a lot of us with the clique? You weren't in the clique unless you were one of the popular kids. So the rest of us were not in the clique. We had our own cliques, right? We had our own groups of people. They considered, oh, these people are like the rejects of society. So they continually do this. They treated me so bad that the school wouldn't let me walk down the aisle. Okay? Even though I surpassed 2 years of school in 1 year and college. Okay? And does that get me to go shoot up the place? No. And why did they do that? Well, they didn't see me as white enough. That is number one. Two, I wasn't going along with what's popular. That's number two. So the clique is the popular kids. I want to sit there and be part of pop culture, popularity, and look like each other and be a bunch of clones. So to me, that's not a bad thing. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's like, good. I wouldn't want to be with those gross people anyway. And those are the people who run society, right? They're piles of shit. They're the bullies. You're the bullies, right? The clique, and you're actually saying it. The clique is the bullies. The popular people are the bullies. Thank you. So you're saying that there, but that's actually not what happened. So another former student at the school, Sarah, remembered Crooks as a quiet kid, not obviously political or violent in any way. She said the only time he spoke with her was when their class was waiting for their graduation ceremony to start. A third classmate who asked not to be named agreed with Crooks didn't stand out, but said from what she saw, he wasn't necessarily shy or quiet. And when he was among his group of friends in high school, he was close with them. Yeah. Yeah. So, no, it's not like he had no friends and, all this bullying made him hate the world. This is this fake human that they're creating that didn't exist. And this problem right here, as we know for a fact now, starts off very young. At home. There's a home life thing, okay? So regardless, like Marilyn Manson had this problem too, because if you look at his home life thing and then his actions there, and then he was saying he got bullied, he probably did because he's being a fucking weirdo right there, and they were treating him as a weirdo and that whole thing. But he still had friends, right? I mean, he still, this thing. So okay, but that's not it. If you look at his home life, the parents were bullies, basically. There's this whole thing, and then he started, like, being abusive to the mom. The dad's, totally, oh, God. Okay, so there's this thing. That's where it's at. It's in that area right there. The gun Crooks used in the shoot. Now, here's where it comes in. Here's where it comes in. I don't know why this is going on. And the father in this is allegedly, like, a mental health person. Yeah, this one. The gun Crooks used in the shooting was an AR-style weapon, according to a person familiar with the investigation. According to law enforcement officials, the gun was traced to his father, which helped to determine the gunman's identity because he was not carrying identification. Dad, you guys, it's not about being bullied in school. I am literally going to stress this. They want to keep pumping out this freaking thing right here. And I'm going to lose my mind. Otherwise, you'd see a tank of women doing it. You'd be seeing all kinds of stuff going on right now. Because more people than not have got bullied in school in some which way, shape, or form. There's actions from some of these people where they're just so freaking weird. Like, really weird. And it could be just because maybe they have other issues going on. You know what I mean? But just weird. And kids will want to go at it. because they feel, this. But it's not from high school. It's no way it started in high school. So people pumping that kind of crap out is just false. It's just a false narrative. That's not actually what's going on. Dad here, though, as you see, why does he have an AR style weapon? The kid was able to get to it. I mean, he's 20 now, so he's not technically a child, but there's a lead up to the problems that they were having. And what you need to find out is the thing at home. And the problem would be in childhood, and it is actually spiraling out throughout this portion. Okay, so then he graduates, and it's whatever's going on, it's getting worse, and then boom. Okay, when reached by CNN late Saturday night, Crook's father Matthew said he was trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Wait until I talked to law enforcement before speaking out about his son. He could not be reached again on Sunday. Federal Election Commission showed that a donor list as Tom Crooks with the gunman street address gave $15 to Progressive Turnout Project, a Democratic-aligned political action committee, an inauguration day on January 2021 when Crooks was 17. Like, some of this was bizarre. Like, last night I was looking at something, and when I clicked on it, it didn't match up with information. So I don't know if somebody gave me a different link or if I'm not looking at it right. So, yeah, whatever. That's what they're claiming. A spokesperson for Progressive Turnout Project said in an email that the group had received a donation in response to an email about tuning into the inauguration. I can't even talk. And that the email address associated with the contribution only made the one contribution and was unsubscribed from our list 2 years ago. We unequivocally condemn political violence in all its forms and denounce anyone who chooses violence over peace and political action. Okay, later that year, about a week after turning 18, Crooks registered to vote as a Republican. Crooks only cast a ballot once in the 22 midterm general election. Okay, this year's presidential election would have been the first for which he was old enough to vote. Yeah, so I was pointing that out. I go, he was only registered to vote for like 2 years. I mean, it's not like... Both of Crooks' parents worked as social workers according to state license records. His father is registered to vote as a libertarian, and his mother registered as a Democrat, state voter records show. It's interesting, but it doesn't, it's not literally telling us anything. That's not the guy that I seen on the video. That's not the guy. They showed me a video. Okay, this is what threw me off. They showed me a guy, they say his name. Is it lagging? Because the dude that they showed me that I was clicking on, I literally went back to it today. And I was like, that's not the guy. And they said his name, and he was actually on the left side of the screen, and he had like really long dark hair. And I'm like, that's not him. So I'd have to go back to the clip. It is the same people up here on the stand. But it may be on my screen, it's lagging on the name when they call it out. I'm totally confused. I'm going to have to, I don't want to look again. Like, I don't even care. Because this isn't the guy that I was looking at. So, yeah, if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that looks like the guy. Yeah, so now that guy's probably like, you're an idiot. Like, I don't know, because when I was looking at it, he said, go to number 108 something, and it was on this side with this guy. And I go, that's not the guy, you guys. I was like, what? I was like totally lost. Okay, Joe Crooks participating in a computer coding course. Crooks can also be spotted sitting in the front of his economics class in a TV ad for the investment firm BlackRock that was filmed at his high school, and the teacher is featured in the video. Okay. Well, what are they going to know? Other than the account was rarely utilized, we found no evidence that it was used to plan the incident. Crooks worked at Bethel Park Skilled Nursing and Rehab, a nursing home less than a mile from his family's home. According to a nurse at the facility who asked not to be named, said she didn't know him. The law enforcement had been searching the center on Sunday, she said. That's just weird. Bethel Park is predominantly white suburb that is wealthier than the surrounding Pittsburgh metro area. That's why I said rich people are the most dangerous in society. Dan, a county council representative whose district includes Bethel Park, described it as a politically mixed according, yeah. It may not necessarily be political, like this case here, even though, yeah. Um, I was trying to explain this to somebody in the comments on Reddit because they automatically were like Democrat. I'm like, I don't need, it just may not even be that. It could be somebody in their own party that are like, we really hate Trump and we want to get rid of him, and I'm doing something for the better good of whatever. We don't even know, right? It was like this thing and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't know. At first I thought it was a military guy because when they were showing the outfit, it looked all green and the whole thing. But then later they did zoomed up shots and I was like, okay, no. Okay, so the guy who lives nearby said he had a very pleasant conversation with the gunman's parents while canvassing for votes before he was elected last year, which means nothing. Okay, he described the community as incredibly safe. Nah, rich areas are never safe. I was like, because they create these monsters. Andrew Bianco, who lives 2 houses down, agreed that the area was politically diverse. Like, who cares about that? Okay, but he said he doesn't remember ever seeing political signage outside the Crooks' residence and only saw the gunman's father when he stepped outside to mow the lawn. That's weird. See, okay, wait a minute. If anything, you'd be like, does someone live there? Okay. That's the information you want to know. Stuff like this, you guys. I honestly want you guys to zoom more in on this stuff. Not, oh, he got bullied in school, because it definitely is not from that. The only thing that may be from that is because he's acting weird in school. Okay, so or doing something, okay? But it's the home life, because he took his dad's gun. Okay, number one, the dad's not having his gun in a safe place. Doesn't matter when they're older. I think it should. Because if he doesn't have a license for it, should he be able to get to the gun? I mean, we're having these discussions. I was like, I would think that would matter too, even if he's a kid. And then even as an adult. But the dad's into having an AR-15, whatever, this bullshit here. So now it's going to lead you into like, what is the dad's thing at home? Is it a thing where they completely disregarded their son? There's a thing where it almost seems like the parents are not social in a way because they're like, I never seen the father until only when he mowed the lawn. Like they didn't go around talking to neighbors. I've talked to neighbors. You know what I mean? You could live alone and you're still very, somewhat social. Like they kind of see you. They know who you are. They see that you do this and that. So, that's kind of peculiar right there. So, yeah, they said, does anybody live there? So it's almost like nobody really seen any activity there. Like, it's not like they even seen him outside playing with, his friends or, I don't know. Like, there's this thing, right? So you don't know the hell that is going on inside the house. And so when this happens, and, the kid's dead, the parents could say anything that they want. It's kind of hard to get the truth of the matter, right? And I guess like another example was on the Jeffrey Dahmer case where the parents are just so fucking weird. Like the parents, when you talk to them, they're like, we see nothing wrong. I don't know, this and that and this. And then the father's like, the devil inside. I don't know, dude. That thing, it's almost like it's going to be something like this. And these parents consistently, their sons are like straight up sociopath, ASPD piles of crap, right? But I don't know why it's happening. Like you want to see like what in this story is causing it. At no time, they always play the victim, right? They always play the victim. Like the military dad, right? In the story where they're like, oh, they diagnosed my son with being depressed. I go, the son's not depressed. And they later said he's a psychopath. Yeah. So I go, yes, they're misdiagnosing this. I don't know how you would confuse PTSD with being a psychopath. I don't know. Like, tell me. Like, because the manipulation of what they're saying? maybe the over emo thing where they're like, I really get pissed off, want to slaughter some people when, my dad does. I don't know, dude. It is literally not the same. I don't know, but they just recently, tried to do this bullshit with Nick Carter, and I'm just like, I'm annoyed. No. And I keep saying they keep misdiagnosing this thing. So you need to know what happened in the home life long before this high school thing, long before any of that. Also, the shooting may not technically be for a political purpose, because if he falls in line with that thing there, then it would fall more in line with the school shooter. So the mentality of the school shooter is to do something to get attention for, and they want to be remembered forever. And, sometimes it has a thing, I just want to take whatever the mentality is behind that. It actually may fall more in line with that mentality where it's not even really about politics, but the mindset around, I want to be remembered forever. And if I take out a president, I will always be remembered. Think about this. The mindset to that. So it may not even really have this major political thing to it at all, other than an opportunity to do something like that. And he just didn't do a school. Maybe he had a thing where he's like, I'm not going to go kill any kids. He may have had that. And that's why he chose to do that. So it may not even really be what you think it's about. And so that's why I was sitting back on it going, I don't even know how to answer that, because it just seemed, I don't know, something about it was a little off kilter. Like, I don't know, I was just looking at it. And then the lack of response for helping Trump, there was another thing on it. And I was like, I don't know what the hell that's about. They would have let him just die, Like, they knew the guy was, like, crawling up a building. And they're just like, what? And they let him shoot these people. Oh, and I just want to do the last portion of this, how annoying it is of their family. They're like, we praise God for saving my dad. And there's like this dude totally died in the back. And it's just like, oh, I guess God hated that dude. He's not that important, I mean, how do you people take this shit in? That would piss me off, but that's just how they talk. And they somehow delude themselves with this crap. I'm like, just call it luck. That's all it is. It ain't God. It was just luck. Regardless if people want that to happen or not. It was just luck that the guy just barely missed him. But he didn't miss somebody else. He didn't miss a couple people. And so that may be why he didn't do the school shooting and he chose to do this. Because this actually gets more attention. Now it's going to be on record and making Trump seem like he's like Ronald Reagan and I survived a shooting. This bullshit. It like made this story worse. Like, I wish it didn't happen, even though there's some people probably cheering this on. I wish it didn't happen because it's almost trying to like glorify him even more and more people wanting him. This thing. And it's just like, ugh. But no, this isn't something that the general population would do. This has to do, I don't believe it's really on the line of political violence. It may actually just be on the line of what I want to be remembered for, and this is where his mind was going. I mean, it's pretty calculated. I mean, that's a very calculated, thought out thing here that he did. It's not like did he have time to like reenact this before he did it? I mean, it's almost like they were saying like there was a ladder or something. He just crawled up and bear crawled and just started shooting up. I was like, how do you do that with a big old gun like that? With Secret Service. I just talked about Secret Service in my other clip because I was like, yeah, Secret Service be sitting there watching all this bad thing around the president, like a different thing, right? So I was like, how bizarre is this? I don't know. It's just weird. Just timing. Two different stories, but I was just talking about the Secret Service because I was like, yeah, Secret Service is out here watching all the kids getting human trafficked, and Kevin's over here going, I'm worried about the president and his safety. I go, well, isn't that what Secret Service is about? I mean, yeah, and then all of a sudden the next thing I throw that video up and then all of a sudden this happened. And I was like, that's weird. And then all these people died on top of it on this other, Richard and Shannon, Doherty, and all this. And I'm just like, I can't take the media right now. I don't even want to read the news. It's like totally funky. Dr. Ruth, we can't forget her either. It was like they went in threes, right? That's just, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like right after Friday the 13th.